You know, when you see films like this, it makes you appreciate a film like Student Bodies a lot more. Because Student Bodies I enjoyed. That was a fun parody on slasher films that came out in 1981. And while, there was some moments that made me laugh out loud, and then there's moments that, even if all the jokes didn't work, was still at least mildly amusing. Really, one of the problems I have with the film is the ending's wanty, but I still enjoy Student Bodies. To the point I was really looking forward to seeing a film like this. This is another horror film parody from way back in the day, this time 1982. And the thing is, that people have to remember, National Lampoon was not this wave of films. Like nowadays, like so many National Lampoon movies went to VOD, DVD, Blu-ray, like Dorm Days and all these other films. They're like, what the hell is that? This was following after National Lampoon's Animal House, which is a fun movie. Classic comedy, Belushi, fun movie, fun film. And technically there was another movie, I believe it was called Movie Madness. I think it was made before this one, but because of something, it came out after this one. So technically this was the second one released. That had National Lampoon in the title. And then on this, it says written by John Hughes. And I'm like, wait a minute, John Hughes? The same guy that directed The Breakfast Club and Planes, Trains, Automobiles? That same guy wrote this film? And, I really like Student Bodies. Okay. Nah, this film sucked. I don't know if John Hughes just wrote a really horrible script, or maybe it's one of those things that it got extremely rewritten. I can only assume it got extremely rewritten over and over again. Had to have been, because I'm like, John Hughes was a very talented guy. Maybe it's one of those things like when Bill Murray did Garfield because he saw Coen Brothers, but the guy's name is spelled Cohen, so it's not the actual Coen Brothers. This is a different Coen. Maybe it's one of those things. Maybe it's John Hughes or John Hughesley. But no, it's supposed to be John Hughes, but there was some trivia saying that he wasn't proud of what he did, or he was rewritten. I can't remember which. The movie, it's trying to be a parody of, I guess, slasher, but more just general horror. In 1972, Garrett Graham, this is a guy who would be Bud in Chud 2, Bud the Chud. He played the stepdad in Child's Play 2, where he's hanging upside down and Chucky's like, how's it hanging, Phil? That's Garrett Graham. He's in this as an asshole who plays a prank on this guy in 1972, where he has a paper bag and this girl has a paper bag. They're having sex, but really they're just in a car doing this. So I guess that's the joke, is that they're doing this. The guy pulls the bag off, sees the girl, and goes, no! Just to cut ahead why that's the case, the other guy is his twin sister. So he was institutionalized. It's 10 years later, class reunion. Garrett Graham is there. The characters you have Stephen Furst from Animal House. He's in this, which in the yearbook he's called Shit for Brains. And he's a guy who's a bit of a disgusting guy. You have these two guys who are pot smokers. One of them is Art Evans, who I remember from, he's the guy helping out Bruce Willis in Die Hard 2. And I'm like, oh, okay, I recognize that guy, Art Evans. He's playing one of these guys who smokes weed a lot. That was a different role to see him. You have this uptight woman. Then you have this other woman who sold her soul to the devil, so she does all this fantastical stuff, like lights her finger on fire to light someone's cigarette. Later on, she like spews fire to open up a wall. I guess that's supposed to be the Exorcist type of jokes. You have this one guy named Gary who no one remembers his name, and he's a decent guy, but no one remembers him ever, or they mess up his name or treat him like shit. Mr. Nobody. You have the sort of popular girl. You have, I guess this one guy was supposed to be a vampire, like a sporting character. Let's see, who else do you have in the film? Anne Ramsey from Throw a Mama from the Train and The Goonies. With a very deep voice. Anne Ramsey's in this. And you know what? Her voice wasn't really as deep as it would later get in The Goonies and Throw a Mama from the Train. So that's why I was like, wait a minute, is that Anne Ramsey? Her voice isn't as deep. First time I've heard her voice semi-normal. But, I mean, this is 82 and Goonies was quite a few years after this. So, at least a couple of years. I mean, she plays like the cafeteria lady for the high school reunion. She's in it for a couple scenes, but it's like, oh, hey, that's cool. Michael Lerner as a doctor of mental illness. Michael Lerner, he's a guy who was in Omen 4, Maniac Cop 2. He was the main bad guy in Harlem Nights. He was the guy who played Mayor Ebert in the 1998 Godzilla film. Michael Lerner's been in a lot of stuff. Chuck Berry, he comes in to play a song for the class reunion. But I mean, I guess, people like Chuck Berry did, because, hey, Animal House was a big hit. This is the second National Lampoon film that at least got released. So why not? But the jokes just doesn't work. It's just, I didn't laugh a single time in this entire flick. During this, a Hare Krishna guy gets choked in silhouette. The type of jokes, like when the dead body of the Hare Krishna swings and everyone in the auditorium's upset, freaking out. And Michael Lerner's explaining what's going on. And he says something like, it's time to pipe the payer. As in pay the piper, but he messed up, pipe the payer. The killer wears a paper bag and girl school clothes. Even though it's the guy. Because for a second I'm like, is his twin sister doing this? No, it's the guy wearing his sister's clothes, I guess. And at one point has a chainsaw. And then just cuts to women saying, stop in the name of love before you break my heart. I'm like, if I want to see that fucking song, I'll watch the TV show Elf where that's referenced, for fuck's sake. And the jokes, like there's a blind lady, she accidentally is doing all this stuff. Her seeing eye dog runs away from her. She accidentally beats up the killer. There's a point where she goes into the kitchen and the guy named Gary that no one remembers his name, he's putting all these tables and chairs so that she doesn't fall down. Jokes like Art Evans and the other guy, after they smoke pot, they go into the kitchen and they see this stuff labeled powdered shit. Yeah, I see powdered shit. It's called this movie. I reviewed Student Bodies. Doesn't seem like that long ago. And I'm like, you know what? I mean, this is a hell lot better than this crap nowadays, like Meet the Spartans. This movie might as well be one of those movies. I mean, it made me laugh just as little. I mean, is it one of the worst comedies ever? No, this is just so forgettable, and the way the movie ends, Michael Lerner, he pulls off his face Mission Impossible style. He's wearing a mask and it's the killer. And wants to kill this girl. Derry saves her. Thinks the killer dead, but knocks out Derry. Then all the other people, like Dara Graham and the Exorcist type of lady, and the other people get there, Stephen first. And then Derry's like, we're a class, we're a family, and you can't beat us, and blah, 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 blah. Which freaks the killer out so much that he tries to leave, and he can't leave. And then it ends with, at one point he's on the railings of the ceiling, and Dara Graham comes out and goes, I apologize. And hey, we're sorry. And then the killer accepts it, and everything's fine. Because who cares if he killed a bunch of people? I mean, it's a parody. You're not supposed to take it seriously. I understand that. And then they start dancing again. I mean, like, this is the film they follow up National Lampoon's Animal House with. Well, technically they had the other film, but that wasn't out yet, the movie Madness one. But this one, like, how do you go so far from Animal House to this? And it doesn't work as a parody. It doesn't work as a comedy. I didn't find one bit funny. I mean, again, like, the go into a room and stuff's labeled powder shit. Anne Ramsey, she dies, I guess. And before that, she's, I guess, trying to do a little bit of kung fu, I guess. Trying to find what other jokes there were, like, Stephen first gets hit with a hammer. They think he's dead, but then he looks under a girl's skirt and says something. The blind woman at one point is so lost that she has these buckets trapped on her feet. Yeah, I can't remember the attempts at jokes now. That's how little I give a fuck about this movie, I guess. That's how little of shits I give on this movie. If you wonder what I'm typing, I'm trying to see if there's any info on this film, because I know I'm kind of failing on this review. Because produced by National Lampoon, it's the third film from the magazine. It was the second film released, although National Lampoon Goes to the Movies, I think that was renamed Movie Madness, it was filmed in 81 but was delayed and not released until 83. John Hughes claimed he had been fired from the film. They didn't even want me around, and I was shocked when I saw the movie. My screenplay had been completely butchered, and my name will nevertheless be on the credits forever. Well, that answered my question. So he was fired, they butchered his script, but his name was on it. Go figure. In April 2018, Kino Lorber announced it would release the film on DVD and Blu-ray sourced from a new 4K transfer. Fucking why? Why are you giving this a fucking 4K? What? I mean, this is a film from ABC Productions. Might as well be a butt crack motion pictures instead of ABC motion pictures. A butt crack, because this film fucking stinks. I guess John Hughes played girl with bag on head on the credits here. Christ almighty, man. I mean, after this, John Hughes would help work on Mr. Mom, National Lampoon's Vacation, Pretty in Pink, and of course, this is writing, but pretty soon after this, he would direct 16 Candles, then Breakfast Club, then Weird Science. I love Weird Science. Love Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Love Planes, Trains, Automobiles. I like Uncle Buck. I reviewed Uncle Buck when I did my John Candy marathon. Weird Science is classic. But yeah, fucking... What does it have on IMDb? I'm curious now. I know I'm almost done, folks. 4.8, way too fucking high. Michael Miller was the director. What the hell has Michael Miller done since? What? What? What the fuck? This is the same guy that directed Silent Rage with Chuck Norris. That came out the same fucking year. I love Silent Rage. I haven't reviewed that because I'm going to wait to do a Chuck Norris marathon and then review that. But I love Silent Rage. It's another slasher film I love. It technically is a slasher. But with Chuck Norris in it. Same director of Silent Rage did this piece of shit. I'm dumbfounded by that. I am dumbfounded. The director of Silent Rage did this piece of shit. That's the funniest thing. That's funnier than this entire fucking movie, man. So I'll end it there. I can't say anything more. I'll just be repeating myself. Thanks for watching. Take care. Just go watch Student Bodies instead. Or Scary Movie or Scary Movie 2. They're a lot funnier than this movie. Later.